What's happening, guys? It's Danny Wilson here, creator of the Unstoppable Man coaching program. Something that I thought would be really, really useful was if I got one of the guys who's recently been through the program just to come on and just to give us his thoughts and his experience about the program. So, my friend James here, he has very kindly agreed to give us 20 or 30 minutes of his time. He's a very, very busy guy. So, James, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, sir?
Morning, Dan. Yeah, morning, guys. Yeah, my name's James. I've been working with Danny now for 12 weeks, 13 weeks actually. I've just started the second phase of the program. It's going really well. I think it'd be worthwhile giving you guys a bit of information and see my experiences and see if we can help anyone out.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, I know you're a very, very busy guy, so I appreciate you taking time out your schedule. So, why don't we start then? Before you joined the program, what was it you were struggling with? What was life like for you?
Well, we said on my call, I recently stopped playing rugby, and I was struggling with the motivation. I had just a real lack of motivation. I was able to get into the gym, but it was always a week at a time. I'd smash it for a week or 2 weeks. But diet was okay Monday to Friday, but the weekends I was just struggling with, not struggling with alcohol, but I'd have a beer of a weekend, I'd eat shit of a weekend. And I was kind of in this peak and trough thing where I was just kind of not unhappy, but just kind of meandering, not really fixed on anything, not really motivated with my training, with no clear goal or anything that I wanted to achieve from a fitness or lifestyle point of view. And I was struggling with energy. That was a big thing. I was knackered in the morning and, staying up late at night, surviving on caffeine, really coffee as soon as I got into the office. And then, and that was it really. It was just a slog, really. It was a bit of a slog.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? There's probably a lot of guys watching this right now who can relate to that. I talk to a lot of guys who seem to be living life on autopilot, seem to be thinking the same thoughts, doing the same things, and obviously getting the same results, talking a good game, but with no clear plan, no clear strategy, no real purpose, to be honest. So what have you tried in the past to get around this?
I bought a couple of PDF diet, low carb, high protein diet PDF. This diet, these are the foods you can eat. These are the foods you can't eat. Given that, it was about 80 quid, I think, and then you just go away, come back in a month, and tell me how you're getting on. And that was all right for a couple of days, but there was no accountability, so you're kind of like, it doesn't really fucking matter, does it? And then myself, I trained quite a bit. I was doing quite a bit of rugby training. I tried to kind of self-motivate, and I was okay at that for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But then once that kind of initial burst of motivation is gone, it was kind of, it just tailored off. One weekend I'd end up, I have a couple of beers, I miss a gym session, I miss the next gym session, and then I've had, the next thing, you've missed 2-3 weeks at the gym, and then you're back into that kind of sedentary lifestyle, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It sounds like a lot of guys that I talk to, they put all their faith in low level, low commitment solutions, which, like you say, they will work for a certain amount of time. However, when motivation wanes, when you get a little bit tired, they just stack up with all the other cheap programs. And what I found is the more times you commit to these low level investments, which ultimately you are going to fail, you're not going to get the results that you want, the less faith that you actually have in yourself. So what you're actually doing is it's a detrimental effect, because you are telling your subconscious that you are going to fail, because we always behave how we expect to. So another $50, another $100, a diet plan, a training plan, a PDF plan. You've got such a backlog of failures that then becomes almost your default setting, if that makes sense. So it's really,
Yeah.
really interesting that you've said that. So if we kind of just reflect a little bit on the last 12 weeks, what do you think has been the most transformative aspect of it for you?
I mean, so the videos that we get at the beginning of the program, there was one in there that particularly hit home about the honesty, and that was something that if you're honest with yourself and you understand that you're in a situation because of actions that you can control, and it is ultimately your fault, and as soon as you take responsibility for that, which I was able to fairly quickly and jump, head first into it. It was able that was a big thing for me in understanding why I feel the way I do, why I do the things I do, and it's me that can change them. And when I do change them, everything else is kind of snowball from there. It's one like you talked in your post yesterday, and we've talked in our calls before about recognizing the negative thoughts and actions of others that you once had yourself,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that I notice more and more now is I see the things that I was saying. I blame other people. Oh, he brings food. He does this. He does that. I'm stressed because of what he's done, so I'm going to eat shite. And as soon as you take kind of responsibility for it and you're honest with yourself, that's a big thing for me, and that's it enabled me to kind of dial down on and just make right decisions for myself. And I'll be honest with myself this time and say, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to make the bad choice because it's down to me, and that's been a massive thing for me. And it enabled me to stick to the routine and stick to the gym plan, stick to the food plan because it's me taking responsibility for my own lifestyle in it and health choices. Other than that, the routine, the routine of those little tasks, they're not easy. They're not easy tasks, but they're tasks that you can comfortably complete. And just that routine, ticking those off every day, the consistency, that's been massive. Because I was kind of erratic. I could have different things going on. I've got projects in work where you could have different stresses. And if that routine goes, that throws you out. But if you've got those kind of anchored into you, those 5 or 6 things that you just do every day, that routine, that consistency just keeps me motivated, keeps me driven, as long as I can just keep ticking them off, it's really helped me. Really helped me.
Awesome, man. I love that because there's a real common mindset or there's a real common belief that holds a lot of guys back is they're looking for one big, massive event which is going to change their life. When the reality is, it's the compound effect of lots of little changes that result in masses and masses of success. It's like guys can't see the wood for the trees. They're looking out into the distance, but they can't see all the good things that they can do there. I also love what you said about responsibility. Taking responsibility as a man is probably the most important thing that you will ever do. I talk to guys all the time who continually blame circumstance. They blame situation. They're continually looking for validation for the way that they behave. When the reality is, the buck stops at you. It's your fault. It's down to you. It may not be your fault as in blame, but it's your responsibility how you move forward. So we started this at 130 kilos.
Yeah.
Tell me how life's like different for you now. Weight, performance, energy, mindset.
So I'm 112 kilos this morning. Just jumped out the shower, weighing myself 112 kilos. So I'm knocking on 3 stone down now. Ready. I reckon by the end of next week I'll be there, which is good. Energy. I mean, whether it's the weight coming off, whether it's the lack of caffeine, the better sleep, but every morning 5 o'clock I'm in the gym first thing. I'm into work rather than getting into work and dragging myself in for a coffee. I'm in there 6:30, ready to go. Big litre of water, and I'm set up ready for the day, productive from the off. Hit the ground running every day. I sleep 10 o'clock. I'm asleep. and I sleep right through. There was times where I was up and down through the night, you know, waking up an hour, up for an hour, asleep for an hour, up for another hour. But I'm sleeping. My sleep is A1 now. I'm bang on. I'm back rugby training. Feel fit. Feel stronger. Stronger in the gym. Yeah, energy. That's one of the biggest things. I feel like I've got so much energy, just so much better, you know. And in terms of like everything's gone up, everything's stepped up a level, you know. Feel so much better. I feel more productive in work, more energy, more time. Feel like I've got more time with my missus, partner, and family. It's yeah, it's good. It's good.
Amazing. So we've completed phase one. We've just
Yes.
started phase two. So you've reinvested fairly heavily
Yeah.
in the second part of the program. For any of the fellas who are watching this now, who are on the fence, because a lot of times guys they'll be hovering over the send button. They'll write me a message and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't want." So they're kind of on the fence. They watch my content. They agree with what I'm talking about. They like what it is that I do, but they still can't get off the fence. They still can't just make that one final decision, which is probably going to change their lives. So, for anyone who's considering stepping up and joining the program, what would you say to them?
Probably what have you got to lose? I think. I understand it's not an insignificant um, investment, but for me, I would say do it. If you can do it, do it, because yeah, the change in me, the change in in lifestyle, and energy, and in performance, everything is massive. I was in that position. I messaged it on Facebook once. I think I was sat there. Or, I don't even know if I sent the message. I might have sat there at 4 a.m, couldn't sleep, thinking, watching another video on Facebook, scrolling Facebook, seeing you put it. I'd watched you. I'd followed you for a while, but I think I finally took the plunge, and it's probably one of the best things I've done. Definitely. And I just changed mentally, physically. Everything is yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Really, really happy I did it. Really happy I did it.
Awesome. Love it, man. That's absolute music to my ears. It's the last 12 or 13 weeks has been an absolute pleasure to help you get to where you are now. And I'm really excited to see how the next 12 weeks goes. I think it's going to be even more transformational. Listen, man, like I said at the beginning of the video, I know that you're very, very busy. So I really appreciate that you've taken time out of your day. So I'm going to let you go. James, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Danny. Cheers, mate.